Welcome to MBAs Teach Econ. Today we're going to be looking at another top question, and by top I mean bottom, because this is one of the most missed questions on our first big exam of the semester. So in this question we're asked to first compute the marginal product of labor given a number of laborers, so that's this column, and the total product, so the total amount of good that they're producing. So anytime that you're asked to find the marginal anything, it's going to be change in what you're trying to find. So in this case, change in product all over change in the denominator, which in this case would be laborers. So this is just important when we ask you to do any marginal revenue would be change in revenue all over change in quantity. And you could think of the other marginal things that we ask you to solve for in economics, but it's always a change over a change. So in this case, it's change of product over change of laborers. We could see that the denominator is always going to just be 1 because we're just going up by one laborer in for each of these different rows. So to find the marginal product, we're just going to do change in total product. So here it would be 18 divided by 1. The second marginal product would be 32 minus 18, which is 14 divided by 1. And then 42 minus 32 is 10 divided by 1. 51 minus 42 is 9. 56 minus 51 is 5. And 60 minus 56 is 4. You can notice that these values, they're decreasing as we increase the number of laborers. And that should make sense. I mean, you can think of working in a small room. Say your factory is a small room. As you start cramming more and more laborers into that room, their ability to produce as much as the previous person was able to bring to the table is going to diminish. And that's this concept of the law of diminishing returns. And that directly ties to this first question. It says, is the relationship between output and labor consistent with the law of diminishing returns? Well, as soon as you see a question like that, your eyes should focus right on this column, and you can see that we're going from 18 to 14 to 10 to 9 to 5 to 4. So yes, the marginal product declines as successive units of labor are hired. So now we need to figure out, how much labor does this firm need to hire? And this gets into this concept of the value of the marginal product of labor. So when we're thinking about the value of the marginal product of labor, that just equals the market price of the good times the marginal product of labor. So I'm going to erase some of what I just wrote here just to give us a chance to review. So if we apply that to this column, so here it's saying the price of output is 7 and the wage rate is 28. So to find the value of the marginal product of labor, it'd be 18 times 7, 14 times 7, 10 times 7, 9 times 7, 5 times 7, and 4 times 7. So 18 times 7, doing some quick math in my head, is 126. 14 times 7 is 98. 7 times 10 is 70. 9 times 7 is 63. 5 times 7 is 35. And 4 times 7 is 28. So now we've calculated the value of the marginal product of labor. So the value in product that each one of these laborers is bringing to the table as they're added to the equation. And then the question asks, if the price of the output of labor is 7 and the wage rate is 28, how many laborers should your firm hire? Well, you could see that the firm is better off. So let's first look at this first number. If with labor 1, if they hire a laborer 1, they're bringing 126 value of marginal product of labor to the table, and it only costs $28 to hire them. So clearly we would hire labor 1. Labor 2, well, that's the same scenario. They're bringing more to the table than it costs to hire them. We're going to keep going through this logic until we get to a situation where the wage equals the value of the marginal product of labor, and that, of course, is when we hire 6 laborers, because 28 equals our wage rate of 28. So here, for this first answer, we should hire 6 workers. I'm going to erase my work here just to answer the second question. It should be very similar. So if the price of output falls to $2 and the wage rate remains at 28, how many laborers should we hire? So now we're multiplying times 2, and the value of the marginal product of labor equals 36, 28, 20, 18, 10, and 8. And we're still at 28 for a wage, and therefore we should hire 2 workers because 28 equals our wage of 28. So here we've just done a quick review of what a marginal product is, specifically the marginal product of labor. We talked about the value of the marginal product of labor, and then we talked about how a profit maximizing firm in a perfectly competitive market would optimize for the number of workers to hire. And of course that happens when the wage equals the value of the marginal product of labor. And until next time, it's been MBAs Teach Econ.